Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Huzur says, Alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah. Last Sunday, spreading its blessings and also indicating the blessings of Allah Almighty, the Jalsa Salana UK, it came to an end and concluded. The 3 days were full of blessings, and the preparation of Jalsa Salana, actually, they continue throughout the year. But the last 3-4 months, particularly, the administration and the workers, they become busy in preparation. And the 2 weeks before Jalsa, the number of the volunteer also increases, particularly in Hadhratul Mahdi, to provide all the facilities. For this purpose, the workers, they work with all their capabilities. In them, there are large number of youngsters. Khuddam are there. At that place, which is like a jungle, with all the facilities, to set up a temporary city is not an easy job. And also the fact that 100% the people who are working, they are not 100% professional. All these, whatever takes place there, and the results that are achieved, that is all belong because of the blessings of Allah. Allah Almighty is the one who blesses and makes them successful, all these efforts which are done. And the guests who come, they are surprised. And looking at the passion of the volunteers, they do express this feeling. Before the Jalsa, the workers, those who are busy doing the work during the days of Jalsa, that increases in the quantity. And then the youngsters, children, ladies, everyone including the work. And for the non-Ahmadi guests, it is something exceptional that how the children and grown-up people, all of them, they are extremely busy in their duties. These guests who do not have the experience of that, they are very much impressed by their work. As these people express their views, that is an extraordinary expression. And they also mention this thing by looking at the worker duties of the workers, that in the Jalsa has left a huge impact on them. It has changed their lifestyle. Despite not being Muslims, they have been impressed by the nobility of Islam and the good teachings. And regarding Islam and community, their information has increased. And instead of getting a negative impression of Islam, they have come to know the beauty of Islam. So the Jalsa, while increases the Ahmadis in their faith and brotherhood, and this becomes the mean of improving the relationship mutual. At the same time, the others, they also get the information about the true teaching of Islam. In the second day of my speech during the Jalsa, during the year, the blessings of Allah Almighty, the rain that comes on the community throughout the year, a summary of that is presented. And it is immense blessings of Allah Almighty. We express our heartfelt thanks on that. We see that Allah the Almighty, on this gratitude to Allah Almighty that we express, then the rain of the blessings of Allah Almighty, it comes and prompts us during the days of the Jalsa it comes and begins once again. And one expression of that is from the comments made by the guest during the Jalsa. At this time, in a brief summary, I am going to present some of the comments of the guest which clearly indicate that the blessings of the Jalsa Salana is really very impressive for all the people. A guest from Benin, Veltin, who has been minister for 8 years, and he is a member of parliament at this time. He attended the Jalsa. He says that I have got from this Jalsa, which I could not have achieved by spending so much money. It was a peace and tranquility in it, in which I had the opportunity to live. I have not seen such an organized gathering in which nearly 40,000 people were present, from various nations, from various colors and creeds, but the atmosphere was absolutely quiet. There is no fight at all, and everybody is busy serving others. The elders, youngsters and ladies and everyone is performing their duties, all of them with good morals, with good qualities. They are working for the comfort of others. This was a great thing for me, and I was matter of surprising for me. There was no police, no military, and the volunteers of the community were working all through. I was thinking, he said, that in this period in time, the dedicated service, how is it possible to perform such duties? Then I come to this conclusion that all this is in the Ahmadiyya community. It is because of the leadership of the Khilafat and Jamaat, which has given to children, to the youngsters, men, boys, girls, everyone, given this spirit, and they get this training from right there, from their childhood. He said that I can say that Jamaat Ahmadiyya, the Islam that they present in the community, and the way they are training their members, as a result of that, very soon the world will join Ahmadiyyat, and Ahmadiyyat will be the greatest religion in the world. And not Ahmadiyyat, but the Islam will be the greatest religion that would be there through the Ahmadiyyat, through the promised Messiah, which will be reestablished through the community. And he says that the Jamaat Ahmadiyya, the teaching it presents, the real practical thing in picture is presented in this Jalsa. I would be going back with very pleasant memories of this Jalsa, and I'm going back to my country. These moments are indescribable. And then another guest from Benin, Pascal Sahib, who was in the Minister of Planning and Department, he said that I have attended so many conferences and I have participated in them, but they are not organized. This Jalsa, this gathering has organized it. I haven't seen that. All the workers, the volunteers, they knew the responsibility very well, and they were discharging their responsibility in a very nice way. Nearly 40,000 people to feed them is surprising. But the most unbelievable thing was that all the people who cooked the food and served, they were all volunteers. And if in the whole world with this passion the work is done, so then I can say with full certainty, then all this warfare will finish and the problems of the world will be over. I cannot help praising the Jamaat Ahmadiyya, that each and every member, men and women, all of them, they are very civilized and very dedicated people. And the representative from Haiti was here. He said, this was a very good, pleasant experience in my life, which I can never forget. The exceptional treatment of the workers has opened my eyes, and my feelings have been changed altogether. Then Ivory Coast, their judge of Supreme Court, Veli Sahib, was here. He is in Ivory Coast, the National Constitutional Committee. He is then as advisor to that. He says that I am a Muslim, and for last 20 years I have been participating in Muslim communities here and there. But in these 20 years, I have not come to know the knowledge of Islam as I got in these 3 days of Jalsa. in three days, the spiritual progress that I've experienced that I have not gained during the last 20 years. Non-Ahmadi ulama do not have anything regarding Islam. And if somebody has to investigate and to find out the teaching of Islam, then he should go to Jamaat Ahmadiyya. And then he says that at Jalsa, as the volunteers, they perform their duties. That indicates clearly that the Ahmadis, they have got immense love with Khilafat, and because of this love they obey the Khalifa, and they live very amicably and lovingly, and there is a unity in the community, and that is the reason that they are serving the Islam religion in the best possible. No other denomination and sect in Islam have got this type of unity. And next year I will come in the spiritual assembly along with my wife from Berlin. There is a lady who says that when I boarded the flight towards London, then there was a fear of terrorism and anxieties, and these ideas were not for this reason that I was sitting in a 7-hour long flight, but I was feeling that for the next 3 days I have to spend these days among Muslims. And all the happenings in the world, the terrorist activities, some Muslims are involved. So I realized that whether I will be able to go back, and I will have to face all these things. So I prayed that I should not be a victim of this terrorist attack here. So I did not get any attack like that. But here I was kept like the princess, and the feelings of the Jalsa, they are the best impressions that I have got ever. I met so many people, but I haven't found the very kind people like Ahmadis. I found a very good community, and I had the example of modesty and dedication, and it was a magical experience. And I'm proud that I have got so many friends here, and very good memories that I am taking with you, which I will never forget. From Berlin, the mayor was also here. He says, Bernard Jones Sahib, that this is my first experience of Jalsa Salana, extremely pleasant. And all 3 days, the brotherhood between Ahmadis and brotherhood and love and affection, I was greatly impressed by that. I have come from such a country where there are so many social problems there. I am the mayor of the Berlin city. I consider that in all these social problems, in order to overcome this, and perhaps we have to get guidance from the Jamaat Ahmadiyya in Berlin. And I am taking back very good memories, and all these contacts that I have developed during these 3 days, the accommodation, the food and travel, all the arrangements of this, they were very good. And the drivers of the cars, they were welcoming. And similarly, during the Jalsa, the young children who served the water and the parking, and the people who cooked the food, and those who are serving behind the scene, and all of them, they have made this Jalsa a wonderful experience. From Italy, a professor came, Ustullah Balda Sahib. He says he is a Catholic missionary. He was a missionary and priest, and he was advisor to the previous pope. He said that in this meeting I noted 3 things. That one thing, that the meeting of the people from various nations so lovingly, and there is no barrier. That is surprising. And in other world we don't see such an experience. And secondly, that I saw extremely peace in this gathering. There was no unrest. And the third thing is that the lectures of the Khalifa of the time, they get a very important message, and there are very practical advice in that for us. Then Philippine, the guest from Philippines, Elena Abbas Saiba, says she is working for Arab News at this time. she participated in the Jalsa last year, and this year on her personal expense she has come here to attend the Jalsa. She says that this is my second experience of attending this Jalsa, but I would have to say that everywhere the arrangements of the Jalsa and all other things in the Jalsa, they have really impressed me very much. And similarly, the spiritual condition of the people, and particularly in this age, the people of various colors and nationalities, they all mix together. And on the basis of nationality, there is no difference between them. This is mutual love and affection and kindness and brotherhood, which gives force to your message, which is much more impressive than any speech, and a long-lasting impression is there. And I wish that the participants of the Jalsa, they should continue this, and the same feeling they should take to their countries and the people who participated in the Jalsa. So in this way, all the people will be benefiting from this atmosphere. That I feel that more and more people, they should come and spend few days in the Jalsa, so that more and more people can come to know that what is muhabbat and brotherhood, what is the meaning, and the true face of Islam is how beautiful is that. A person came for a lady who was in the delegation from Japan. She said, my speech in the ladies regarding that, she said that the lecture in ladies side indicates that the advice of the Imam of the leader, they are that is protection under the shade of which Ahmadiyyat is going to progress and to combine the families, and this is very important that we should follow that. Nowadays people are going away from religion, but I was thinking that what is the force which creates this sentiment of mutual love and cooperation. So this question was in our minds. But on the very first day when we participated in the dua, the prayer in the first day, and when we listened to the advice of the Imam of the community, so we believed that it is the power of the prayer which actually creates a distinction between the community and other denominations. And many times I had the opportunity of the prayer that we felt that our hearts, they became very satisfied, and new life we felt. And the temperature was high, but we didn't say that because of the hot weather the people would have fed up. There was smile on the faces of the workers, and there was orderly fashion during the food. And when we came to know that the children who serve the water and the cleaners, they are all serving happily, then I was looking and I was envious of those people, and I was praying that Allah, they may be happy with God, and God will be happy with them who are sacrificing their comfort for this. Badilu is a new convert. He says that in my life I have not seen any program like that. The program of the Jalsa, the starting on time, this was very important for me, and I was greatly impressed. The topics of the speeches were according to the need of the time, and particularly very useful for me. And all the arrangement of the Jalsa, it was like a running machine, and each and every instrument of that was working, and all the workers together, they were operating and using it in a very nice way. Everyone knew their job, and they looked very expert. And they say that in the Jalsa, all the exhibitions, they were very useful, which were taking place during the Jalsa. Archive and Maqsan Tasawir particularly, and review of religions, they impressed me very much, and I liked these exhibitions. And regarding the history of the Ahmadiyya, they increased my knowledge to great extent. By participating in this Jalsa, I pray, thank to Allah Almighty, that who enabled me to get attached to this blessed community. And apart from all the beauties of this Jalsa, she would say that I would like to make out one weakness, that according to my humble desire, that I felt that the French programs are less as compared to English. And the people who are responsible for the programs, they should either there should be some programs in French, or the translation in French should be provided. this is the blessing of Allah Almighty, that this is a blessing that some people are also pointing out our weaknesses and shortcomings. A guest coming from Japan, who is the chief priest of Buddhism, regarding international Ba'ath, he said that in the Ba'ath ceremony, we realize that there is one God and we have to submit to Him. And if we submit, then peace is granted to our hearts and the sins are taken away. If people forget their differences and they want to become, they can do like that. By participating the Ba'ath, the ceremony, and all things were cleared, and we all fell in prostration, and we felt that our sins have been wiped away and washed away. Then a scholar from Indonesia, Scholar Umar, he says that the holding of this Jalsa, a very surprising aspect of this Jalsa, it's a very surprising arrangement. In this gathering, the people had come from various countries, and it appeared that as if uniting the whole world, Ummat-e-Wahida, one united community is there. As the volunteers were working here, in any other in organization we do not find a similar example. That it's a great proof of the fact that Jamaat Ahmadiyya in every field is a serving community. During the Jalsa, we met various types of people, and there were very prominent people. Everywhere the Islamic Brotherhood was manifest, and everywhere the message of peace was there. He says that so far as hospitality is concerned, that we cannot express adequately how good it was. The workers, they respect the guest and meet them pleasantly, and we felt as if we are living in our own home. And the speeches in Jalsa, the speeches, and everyone was understanding those speeches readily. And he says, my advice, that in such a wonderful Jalsa should also take place in Indonesia, in which Khalifa of the time should there. That will be a great honor for us. If they want to do, they should do, but unfortunately they are increasing in enmity and opposition. And there is a lady from Indonesia, she is the leader of a Muslim organization of ladies. She says that I have read so many books about Jamaat Ahmadiyya and I know quite a few things. But when I attended this Jalsa, by attending this Jalsa and listened to the Khalifa of the time and speeches, then certainly the members of the community, they are knowledgeable and act accordingly. And they listen, the attention with they listen, the attention with the attention. By listening, by watching that, I was surprised. He said that the Jamaat Ahmadiyya, the fact of the matter is that the Jamaat Ahmadiyya is the true community. They are regular in prayer. They look after discharging the duties towards God and fellow beings. They respect one another. And before saying anything, they say Assalamu alaikum. In every program is very orderly, and everywhere Razakar, the volunteers, they cooperate with one another, taking it as a virtue and goodness. And looking at all these things, I was greatly impressed. And all this, she says that this is because of the Imam of the age and the blessing of Khilafat. A non-Ahmadi scholar from Indonesia, he is head of the philosophy department. He said that for the first time I have attended such a meeting in which from every aspect and from every angle the spiritual points are meant. I consider it as a wonderful experience of attending Jalsa. He says, I consider it a very good meeting, because in that the people from all over the world, they were wandering around Khilafat just like the moths. And I appreciate the efforts of the Khalifa of the time, who has put together all this. He has gathered all these people, and he has shown the spectrum of brotherhood. And actually, this the Khilafat which is promoting, for which the Promised Messiah ﷺ was sent. And may Allah make this thing that Imam Mahdi, Imam of the age, these people are enabled to believe in him. And then she says, this person says that this is true Islam and this is the real brotherhood. Jamaat Ahmadiyya is that world organization which we cannot see a match of that. The motto of Jamaat Ahmadiyya is very good, and this goes into the heart into the heart, and in the light of the teaching of the Holy Prophet and Islam, the beautiful teachings are mentioned. The period is only 3 days, but so far as blessings are concerned, they are full to the brim. And I am extremely grateful to you for all that. From Kini Konakiri, from a governor in a province, Kamara Sahiba, she says, she participated, that I haven't better organized gathering like this. All the people from all nations and creed, they came. They are showing the good, very expensive. Love and affection is extraordinary, and expression of that was extraordinary, and not only philosophically but actually there, and we could feel that, and everything that was needed, that was available. And she says that I happened to listen to all the speeches, and I feared that at that time I felt that they were prepared according to the need of the time, particularly the speeches of the Imam Jamaat Ahmadiyya. They were the guidance which he gave to the guest and to the workers. If we all follow that guidance, then all the problems can be over, with living within the boundary of law and order, with love and affection. And I feel that during these 3 days, that Jamaat Ahmadiyya is a very organized Jamaat, always following the commands of their leader, and this is the beautiful teaching of Islam. By following that, we can all become a community. And at the end she says that request for prayer, that there should be peace in our country, and establishment of true Islam should be there. And a journalist, Manusco, he says, he is attached to a TV channel. He said that when I was invited to attend this Muslim Jalsa, I was surprised because globally, regarding the Muslims, the negative feelings are very common. But I want to express this thing categorically, that the reason for that is lack of knowledge. There are thousands of people, Muslims, those who are totally unaware of these feelings. Now through Ahmadiyya Jamaat regarding Islam, I have understood so much, and living in the atmosphere of the Jalsa, I understood this point, and that before establishing a biased opinion, it is much better to go and see those people. The central message of the Jalsa Salana was the message of peace, which should go to all level of people, and very kind people. I had the opportunity of meeting these very kind people who had opened up their hearts for the guest. Jamal with the name, a lady is there, and she says that I had the opportunity of attending Jamaat Ahmadiyya in Britain. I was very pleased. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Muslim, I had the opportunity of watching it from close quarter, and many of my misunderstandings were removed. I came to know about Islamic teaching. My heart is filled with pleasure that all the participants of Jalsa showed great love and affection to me. Like for lady, I never felt alone, that I am away from home and all alone. But as opposed to that, I felt that I am more secure and I am respectable in the eyes of other. The mutual brotherhood, and that practical example I saw, and meeting by all the people from various countries, I felt that all of them, they are loving one another, although they speak different languages. But the practical feelings of these people has forgotten the difference of languages. She says that in this Islamic atmosphere I am greatly impressed, and I believe that the members of the Ahmadis, they are the establishing the true Islam. A photographer of TV channel was here. He said that unforgettable experience. And from the top to bottom, all the people showed great affection and treated nicely. Their arrangements and the speeches of the Jalsa, they gave us very good understanding and enlightened. And you told us that what is Islam. He said, 2015 I got introduced to the community, but by coming over here I felt that I'm living in my home, and everyone was taking care of other people and showing respect and love. He says that I have got this lesson that we should cooperate together and create a brotherhood. Then we can perform great things. From Mexico, a new convert, a lady came. She said that it's only 1 year that I am an Ahmadi and I am learning about Islam. This is such a religion which is not looked nicely in our country, and the reason of that is media. But I know that Islam is a religion of peace. But the people, my family members, they stopped me from coming here and they were frightening me. But when I arrived here, I found it totally different. After the reception at the airport, all 3 days of Jalsa, the treatment and the feeling of the participants, I am greatly impressed by that. And now the brotherhood in the Jamaat, there is no doubt remaining in my heart after attending this Jalsa. She says that all the thoughts that I have got, which I am going to taking with me to my Mexico, that I will convey the message of Ahmadiyya to those people. Then from Mexico, another new convert, Sukhira Saiba, she says that volunteers sometimes never understood me but I realized that this difference of religion does not make a difference between the relation with Ahmadis, and I was feeling as if I'm living with my family members. And the addresses of the Khalifa of the time, I realized that what are weaknesses me, and I'm sure that I'm in the right place, and Allah Almighty has showed me the path of guidance. And this is my desire, that as my faith has been strengthened, that my family members, they should also know Islam and their faith should be strengthened. Then Mubahul Aziza from Cameroon, he says that last year I attended the Jalsa. This time, more than in every department, the transport and accommodation was good, and the other arrangements were good. To give the food to all such a crowd is very difficult. There was no unpleasant thing. Everyone goes to the Jalsaga on time and listen to that. This is something special which I have not seen in any other place. All the khuddam, the devotion with which they work, that's we can't find any example elsewhere. And the Jamaat which has got so dedicated people, that is going to progress. And I said that I'm a journalist by profession, and meeting with the MTA staff, and there I loved very much, and everything of what we needed was there, and which is not available in even government departments. And how the message of Islam is reaching the people, that I found from the impression of the non-Muslims. Everybody was praising the love and affection of the community. And then he says that the speech in the ladies which I delivered, the Khalifa of the time, that for the training of our youngsters is very important. The use of social media, how it should be done, all these things are the need of the time. If we have to did not protect our children from that, so then they would go away from humanity and Islam, and we have to follow this teaching. And then he says that in the last speech, the expression of the fasha, indecency, and when I heard the meaning, then I came to know that we are all suffering from this weakness, but the people, their actions are not good. If we understand this commentary and act upon them, then we can purify our future generation and give a very purified society. The meaning of the fasha has shaken me, And this is such a knowledge which I will always keep in my throughout the life. And I came to know about the community, and those nations who do not forget their history, they always progress. And the message of Islam is being conveyed, and I received the message of Islam, and review of religions is very good, and very similarly the services of humanity first are also very good. From Iceland, a lady guest from Iceland, she says that after participation in Jalsa, I increased my knowledge, and I have understood the Ahmadiyya better, and to meet all the people was very good and enjoyable. Everywhere I felt the peace and brotherhood. The speeches were faith inspiring, and I enjoyed looking at the exhibition. Although when I saw the pictures of the martyrs, I felt sorry, and this was done because of the difference of religion. It is done, this martyrdom. And third, in the international bath, that impressed my heart, and the feeling and my sentiments I can't express in words. Macedonia, a journalist from there, Tony Wojtowski. Anyway, he says that in this Jalsa, the most important thing, I was greatly impressed, that was the feeling of the lectures of the Khalifa of the time, especially regarding the training of the children and particularly the use of the mobile. Regarding that, the advice was invaluable, and this was a universal message, because in every country, all the families, they are suffering from this problem. If one family is not united and the members are not connected with one another, then they are scattered, and by the scattering of the family, the whole society scatters. And George from Philippines, he was also belonging to a television channel, and he was the host of a program. He said, "This is the first experience in my life that I have so many people from so many countries all assembled in one place. Everybody from whichever country he was, whether they knew the other people or not, but they were meeting with smiling face and greeting them. And the most of the thing is, the purpose of that was the love and affection and to spread the humanity." He says that as a journalist, I have attended so many meetings, but the tranquility and peace and orderly that I have seen, and the arrangements here and the speeches, I have not seen such an example everywhere. And the volunteers, they respected us and served us, and they cared for, provided all the thing, and that has impressed me very much. He says that traffic control are, in order to serve the drink, the young children, they are serving this responsibility very nicely. And he says that I am very happy that I have been able to attend, because this Jalsa has opened my mind much more than that. A new angle has been given to me, and this is a landmark in my life in this respect. And I have come to know a new culture and civilization I have been able to see that is different from the culture in Philippines. From Greece, there was a guest. She says that this is impossible, that I can describe this experience in words, which making a part of 38,000 people, they are praying for peace. The kindness and affection which was expressed from other people, that was a unique experience, which has increased my hopes that how the humanity can establish one another, and it has the power to unite the people, despite all these differences that we have. But this is a very good step towards removing these differences. From Canada, from the indigenous people, the First Nation, as they say, their group was here, and they had covering on their heads, and their traditional throne was there, tribal people were there. The chief of 3 tribes and one other leader was there, and one group leader, the Max, he says, the service of the youngster people greatly impressed. So we will work together with our youth, and the orderly that we have seen in the youth that I have seen elsewhere, and the nice way in which they work, that is matchless. And the Khuddam should mention that this prayer should remind them to go for more and more services. And then says one chief, Roger Edmund, that I'm a chain smoker, and in our tribe this is so common that First Nation people, that is a part of their daily life, and they say that perhaps using tobacco increases in spirituality. But at the Jalsa time, when the Khalifa of the time advised the members of the community that they should abstain from smoking, then the chief said that I also make a commitment with myself that I will avoid smoking. And then I stuck to this promise. So this lesson, there is a lesson for Ahmadis in that. Rather, somebody said that, wrote to me, that the long flights, the 10 to 12 hours sometime, even at that time, it's a no smoking flight. So if the people can show some patience at that time, the same if they do during the Jalsa, they will get reward. And he said that after listening to your address, my feeling is that if Islam means loving one another and to spread the peace and kindness to mankind, as you have mentioned in your speech, so then certainly I would like to become an Ahmadi Muslim. And the chief also said that before making any commitment, he would like to consult, because the people are very formal and they follow their tradition and maintain that. And another chief of First Nation, he said that the honor and the respect that was given, that is as resembles our centuries of tradition in our community, and every need was fulfilled here. And regarding Muslims, one opinion is by Americans and one is by Canadian. But it is very sad that some of our people, they do not have a positive thinking about Muslims, but now we feel that we are our own enemies. He says that I have seen in the community that they do not fight with one another, not indulge in debating, and these are the good impressions which are impressing all the people. The one member of the Spanish delegation, he says that first time I have attended this meeting, I'm attached with the community. The Jalsa was very good, and there was a message of love, tolerance for other people, and the value of other people. It was a great message. The example of Ahmadiyya is worth living, and I wish that all the people should follow this example. Then another member of the Spanish delegation, who works in a newspaper in Cordoba, he says that this was a model society, and to express that is a great point for me to do. And another person from Spain, he says that I have come to know to your religion. It was very good hospitality, and apart from that, the speeches were also very good. And somebody said, writes from Spain, that participation in Jalsa is a proof of the fact. I have come to this conclusion that the true Islam has got nothing to do with terrorism and killing. And a non-Ahmadi lady from Jamaica says, she was here, she said, she's an accountant, educated lady, that for the last 5 years I'm in contact with the Jamaat, and my introduction was quite good there, but after participation in Jalsa, and it has expanded very much. And regarding Islam, all the doubts which I had, all those have been removed. I liked this thing very much, that the men and women, they were separated. And from one side, people criticize, but I liked it very much because there is no distraction, and they have admitted that when they are together, men and women, then their eyes are not so good. When the men and ladies were separate, so there is no distraction in their concentration, and they pay more attention to the worship. So Ahmadi ladies, they should, who are suffering from a complex, they should consider on this comment and think very seriously. A professor from Italy, he says, he's the director of a center, he says that during the Baitul initiation, the condition of the people that was felt by other people. I have studied psychology, but a person can see that how true a person is in his faith. By looking at Ahmadis, I am fully confident that the standard of your faith is very high. And when I came to know that more than 600,000 people, they have joined the community, it was very good. A guest from Italy also said, Wasila for Bani Sahiba, and she is a Orientalist, and he is also journalist of a Vatican publication. She said, I have increased my information about community, and such organized Muslim community, this information should go to the people. And the Ahmadiyya community is trying to solve the problems, and whatever you are doing, that should be known to the people. From Belarusian, there is a university professor, Sisrovsky Sahib, says that as an expert of religion who has got initial knowledge about Islam, the participation in the Jalsa Salana was a very noble and precious opportunity. I have got some information, but participation in Jalsa, it was a very valuable, unforgettable experience for me. Because of this Jalsa, the reality that I have come to know that Islam is a universal message. And this sentence I have heard from people many times, but all the people, they do not believe in that. And there is a shortcoming in the knowledge about Islam. Misunderstanding is also there, and various forms of Islam is seen, which does not allow the people to believe in that. But the atmosphere of Jalsa Salana, that removes dismantles all the walls of suspicion and doubt. This is my first experience, in which for the first time I have come to know and I have observed the feeling of this Jalsa from close. And all the speeches were good, and various people from various countries, they were here in their dresses. The arrangements of the Jalsa is surprising. If you have to arrange for 2,000 people, but to arrange for 38,000, the arrangement how they did, certainly this is very surprising. I do want to thank all the volunteers that they did very wonderful arrangements of the Jalsa. So I would tell the volunteers that there were 140 volunteers from Canada. They came for the wind up, and they did good job. And apart from those local volunteers, thanks to them as well. And apart from that, the Tabligh Department UK, this year the seminar and the question answer, the meetings, apart from that, they had 5 exhibitions, Al-Quran, and the purpose was to highlight the Islamic teaching, and the Holy Quran was there, translations. And similarly, regarding the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the speech contest was there. And Gerrit Wilder, the campaign that he started, there was a speech competition against that. And many European people also participated. One lady, Catherine Mary, she's a Christian. She says that as a lady, I'm interested that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what his opinion was regarding the ladies. He came at a time when Europe was in turmoil, and at that time he announced that we will respect our ladies. And somebody asked the Holy Prophet that the most deserving, who is in the world? he said, your mother. And then secondly, he said again, your mother. And when for the third time he asked, he again said, your mother is the most worthy of respect. That impressed me very much. And similarly, there was a lady in Tabligh department. She said that I attended the Jalsa for the first time. I think that such a person who does not have much knowledge about Allah and God, and who attends the Jalsa, at the end of the Jalsa, he would go with an ocean of knowledge regarding God at the end of the Jalsa. Regarding the Jalsa, the publicity that we have got about the Jalsa, the media, Al-Islam website through, and more than 800 million people got the message, and more than 2,000 people through the media and online, the newspapers and the print newspapers with reference the news which appeared, and that is 53 radios and 20 and 4 news on the TV altogether in the 70 news media, and more than 30 million people got the message about Islam, and various radio channels and TV, the coverage that they gave, BBC, ITV, BBC Arabic, and Economist magazine, Independent, Washington Post, Herald, LBC, Capital Radio, Alton Herald, and BBC on 19 radio stations. Our representatives were given the time, so large number of people benefit from, and there are some journalists who, when they go back, they are going to give the news with this reference of Jalsa in their part. A Japanese journalist says, a Japanese, that I'm very he says that I was very much impressed and I saw a smile on their face, but at the time of the people on global bath, then he was surprised that why these people are weeping, and they were told that they were thanking God Almighty and they were praying for the peace in the world. One journalist lady, regarding Jalsa, she says that last year I came for this Jalsa, but not in the ladies' side. This year I went to ladies' side as well, and I would like to say that your ladies, they are much more educated than men, and they are very free, very independent, and they were very dedicated to your community. This was a very impressive experience for me. In Africa, the coverage of the Jalsa this year, 15 TV channels, they televised Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Gambia, Rwanda, Burkina Faso, Benin, Uganda, Mali, Congo, Brazil, and first time in Burundi, the proceeding was telecast, and collectively 50 million people in Africa, they watched the proceeding of the Jalsa, and many thousands comments are there, which indicate that the people have seen the program. Anyway, this was a very long detail. Which the people have expressed. They have expressed their opinion, and they have also discussed and regarding other departments, and they have good the exhibition, archive, Al-Hakam, and all these exhibitions they have also, and also the people have come to know about the history of the Jamaat, in the organizations of the Jalsa, in the Numaish, in the exhibitions. All those workers, they were all volunteers, and as from the impressions of the guest, that all these volunteers, they were doing a very silent preaching, the children, the ladies, the men, everyone, And this time, generally the participants, they are expressing, and from the lady side and men, and regarding the workers and the lady workers, that exceptionally good manner and good morals and spirit of hospitality was shown by these people. And from this aspect, all the people who participated, after thanking, and the workers, they should be thanking to Allah Almighty, and they should pray for all these people that Allah enable them to serve in future as well. And I thank all the workers and the karkunat, the worker, lady workers and others, and Allah Almighty enable them to work more in a better way in future, and always they should be helping hand for the Khilafat. And all the workers, they should also thank God Almighty. Though workers and the lady workers, they should thank Allah Almighty, and they should be thanking Allah Almighty more than anybody else, that Allah Almighty enabled them to serve and to offer their services. And without the help of Allah Almighty, this service was impossible. Allah Almighty enabled them to be very modest, and because of this comment and this praise, there should be no element of arrogance in them or pride.